All right. What's up, guys? Mike Hilla here with the AMG podcast. Wanted to introduce you guys to our new agent, John Rouse. Welcome to the podcast, brother.
Appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is our first one, so I'm pumped to do it. Just to kind of let everyone hear from a new agent that just got started. So, do you want to go by John or JT?
Go by JT.
Let's go. All right, so this is JT here, and JT, I just am curious. Give the people where are you from? A little bit of your background. What were you doing before this?
Yeah, absolutely. So from Charlotte, been living there for about as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Worked
704.
Yeah, good old 704. Live up in the Mooresville area. So we call it Charlotte.
Yeah.
Depending if you know the area or not.
Right.
But graduated college, went to school with Brandon Manley, fraternity brothers back in the day. And, I know he was doing his thing and went worked with Cookout for a little over 12 years. And
wow,
did a lot of traveling with that and opened new restaurants and just.
So you were making good money with Cookout.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's, very good money for working in fast food for sure.
Absolutely.
But, saw this opportunity with Brandon, had talked to him and said,
let me stop you there. Because I think that's so interesting that you're making good money, but what made you say, you know what, what was it that made this seem or you wanted, why wasn't that enough?
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, living and working in the restaurant business, it's 24 hours. There's no stop to it. It's, basically 24/7, 365, if you want to look at it that way. So it's good money, but you're going to have to put in the hours. You're going to have to put in the work, and it's go the whole time. So, it's a good opportunity for a change. And
you were looking for growth.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've grown a lot in Cookout and appreciate all my time there and enjoyed it. But, at some point, priorities change a little bit, and
absolutely.
it's try to have that little bit better work-life balance and a major opportunity to grow.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thanks, man. I just love hearing that. So what I was going to get to next was, so you kind of touched on it, but so you and Brandon had previously went to NC State together. We're in the same fraternity. And so do you just randomly one day see our post, or had you been following AMG? What made you say, hey, Brandon, what's going on over here?
Yeah. So being friends with Brandon on Facebook and him utilizing that, from what I've seen of a lot of posts of we're going to, all these cool
Haley
places and we're going and doing all this cool stuff and the opportunities growing. And I didn't know much about it. I just could see from a snapshot what he was doing. I said, you know what, let me reach out to him and see what it's all about. He seems to be enjoying it. Seems to be growing. Yeah. Just shot him a text and said, hey man, I know we haven't talked in a while. And, if you got a few minutes, I'm interested in what you're doing.
Right.
And
you just kind of find out what is going on.
Because I kept seeing it pop up and, I was like, all right, I got to shoot him the text and see what he's doing, what it's all about.
Yeah.
And he sent me a video about 45 minutes to watch. And
the opportunity call.
Yeah. I watched it and immediately texted him back. I was like, hey man, I'm interested. Give me a call when you got time.
Dude, see, power of social media.
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely. I mean, and if it wasn't on social media, I probably would have never reached out to him and
you guys
to see what he was doing.
Right. You guys are still friends, obviously, but what's so cool with social is you get to see what everyone's up to and still stay connected. And just through Facebook, you're just like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, wait, so did you come to the down? Guys, so we're down in Treasure Island right now. JT came down here, but you initially met Brandon where?
Up in Burlington at the Alliance.
So you came to headquarters.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
I reached out to him and, we had talked on the phone. He told me a little bit more of the breakdown, telling me exactly how it works, what the opportunities are.
First off, how was the office is crazy.
Oh, it's insane.
I call it the Google office.
I mean, when we walked in, when you first pull in, you're like, okay, it's just another corporate headquarters.
Right.
And then you walk through the door and you're like, wow, whoa, that is not what I expected.
This is a different being in here.
Yeah. I mean, just talking to everybody there too, the staff.
Robbie.
Robbie was the first one we talked to when we walked in,
Yeah.
and he went to NC State too. So
Right.
hey,
Exactly.
that always helps.
He's got state gear
everywhere. I wanted to walk out with that helmet that he had in the office, but hey, I wasn't gonna take it. But
so many state alumni there.
Oh, absolutely. And everyone was friendly, wanted to introduce themselves. So
you got to meet the whole
welcoming.
gang up there.
Yeah, everyone
President's Club,
upstairs,
the recruiters, the lead performance team, all those guys.
Yeah, I don't think everybody was there that day,
Yeah.
but you saw enough people, and Brandon was walking us around and saying, this is where
there's an operation going on.
It's not, some mom and pop that's just winging it or anything. No. It was structured. There was a plan to it. So, sat down and talked with him for, it might've been like 2.5 hours.
Let me ask you this. Didn't you bring someone with you?
Yeah, I brought he's actually my neighbor. And he's going through his class right now.
Look at that.
So he's going to be starting part-time and then building up from there. So
really?
We'll kind of
see. Did Brandon say, hey, bring someone? Or were you like, hey?
No, I reached out to my neighbor.
This guy.
Yeah, I reached out to him. I was like, hey, man, like, this might be a really good opportunity, even as just a side hustle. Right. And it's like, hey, we're going to go up on Monday. Brandon was up there for breakthrough and up there all week. So I was like, hey, let's go up on Monday. Let's sit down. Let's any questions we can think of.
Right.
On top of watching the video in the beginning, and let's just truly see what it is.
Right. Let's just check it out and go see what's going on.
Yeah. And wanted to make sure, obviously you have to do your due diligence with any job, is making sure it's what
you think it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Because anyone can post a video online, but got to make sure it is true.
Right. And so once you leave Charlotte, you show up on Monday, you see the office, Brandon breaks it down to you
and Matt.
You're like, okay, this is serious.
Yeah, absolutely. You realize like, hey, they know what they're doing. They've got a like the setup is there.
The blueprint is there.
Yeah. It's gonna be on me.
Right.
And Brandon had pushed me and said, hey, if you're serious about it, go get your license, take a week and get it done, but don't stretch it out. Like the faster you get through it, the easier it is.
And I wanted to stop there. So guys, JT, let me just, all right. So you get told Monday, you have to go take a license. How quickly did you respond to Brandon saying, hey, I got my license, fingerprints, state exam, everything done by?
I was done by the end of the week.
The end of the week.
Yeah. So
less than 7 days, guys. It's possible. No excuses. You can't. This guy's living proof.
It can be done.
It can be done.
Yeah, it's gonna be a grind, and you're gonna sit down and you're gonna study and study and study. But you got to get through it, and just once you get through, get that exam done, get your fingerprints done.
Guys, not just the exam. Hard. He did all of it. 7 days done, license in hand, ready to roll.
Yeah, it took me longer waiting on my license after getting the exam or doing the exam and passing than it took me to go actually study and go get it done.
So now this is no joke. Today's October 21st. This is like a month ago.
Yeah, right about a month ago.
A month ago, guys. And so you get your license. You ask Brandon, all right, so next up, obviously you get contracted with the carriers. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you got to run some business.
Yeah, you got to get signed up with all the contractors. So
you get appointed, you do phase 1. We got all that. So what I wanted to know, what was your attitude towards hitting the field? So you were running business. You wanted to go. You wanted to get started.
How do I get leads? How do I get them in my hand? Making phone calls. I watched the training videos. I had the scripts.
Right.
My thing was, I know I'm not going to be the best one immediately.
Right.
But how do I get them in my hand? How do I start making phone calls? And hey, I'm going to mess up in the beginning, but that's okay. You learn as much as you learn what to do, you learn what not to do.
Right.
And, looking back now, it's like, wow, I was an idiot the first time I sat down with a person in their house.
That's what I find so just super valuable content to hear, is you had that attitude going into it. It was like, of course, I'm not going to be good in the beginning. The more I do this, the better I will get, just like with anything in life.
Yeah. I mean, you got to learn, you got to practice. Nobody's going to be the best coming out the gate. Even if you've done sales, even if you've done, working with people every day,
right? Physical, personal development, this or that. In this world, any new world,
there's a learning curve.
Right. There is a
100%.
learning curve. Absolutely. And what JT's saying is he went out there and collapsed that learning curve so quickly by running business as fast as he could, not scared to make a mistake.
Yeah. And I messed up phone calls in the beginning. I
Yeah.
messed up
Tell him about
door
it.
knocking.
Yeah.
You know, Brandon had set me up and, you know, we got some leads and
Yeah.
started making phone calls. And, you know, I learned real quick, you know, after the first 5 people hung up on me, like, hey, I got to adjust my script a little bit,
Right.
you know.
Get Brandon a
just-
call.
I called him. He was like, no, like you have the right idea, but your approach and your delivery is not there. It's awesome. Okay. Like, what's your recommendation? Let's
Yep.
role play going through
What
a
would
phone
you say
call.
here or there?
Brandon, you're going to call me. And what would you say? So we went through that and
That's
immediately
awesome.
just started changing, got appointments set up.
So just that little verbiage
Just
changing,
a
right?
little change. But, you know, that first week, I didn't close any business. I didn't get
Guys, first week.
any, nothing.
So he set appointments, right?
Yeah. Set
Ran
appointments.
business,
Mhm.
didn't close anything,
No.
which is okay.
It's okay. Hey, and
This
I
is, by the
learned
way,
real quick.
2 weeks into this.
Yeah.
He's got his license, ran business the next week,
Yeah.
which is
and
amazing. I love it.
realized that, you know, and once I walked out the house, you know, I'd call you or I'd call Brandon. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, like I should have
Done.
adjusted my approach, or I should have like, hey, you know, how could I help them more than just what I was there for? Like,
Right.
I got to get them to talk a little bit more. I got to get to know them,
Exactly.
because it's not all about the sales. You're there to try to help them. It's not, hey, it's this or nothing, or I'm out of here.
right.
It's not that approach. It's okay. Well, maybe it's not final expense. Maybe there's an opportunity to help them in another way, or
Right.
make sure that the policy that they have in hand now is the right one.
Is exactly what they need.
Is it
right.
what they expect it to be? Is it, you know, a lot of people get sold things and then go back and look, and it's not at all what they
right.
thought it was.
They have many times you find out clients think they have something that they don't. But
Mhm.
what you're essentially saying is when you're in the home building that rapport, that connection, that's what you got out of realizing that first week maybe
Oh,
is
yeah,
you weren't
absolutely.
doing that enough.
I wasn't building the why enough.
right.
And
Building that why.
so that's what I realized is, okay, you know, I came in too narrow minded
Yeah.
of this is what I was here to do, versus let me just sit down and talk to them. Let me get to
Just
know them.
talk to
How
them.
can I help them? Versus I'm here to push a product,
Right.
which, you know, in my mind, that's not what I was there to do. My goal
Right.
was to go help them,
You just
but
it
you got to be
delivered
able to
that way,
pivot
yeah.
quickly.
Right.
And because none of them are going to be the same when
Now-
you walk into the home. It's
right.
never the same.
Never the same.
No.
No, I don't care no one will ever say that. And if they are, they're out of their mind. Now, so what's your attitude after that? Because I thought it was so interesting. I know speaking to you after JT calls me, he's like, dude, I know I was going to mess up. I wanted to get that out of the way so I could get better. I'm like, brother, if I could get everyone to have the same attitude, because that is what gets you successful in this business. Fail as fast as you can.
Oh,
Make as
absolutely.
many as obviously you want to be prepared, guys. Like, don't go out without knowing your producing number or paper apps or not having a green sheet, but be prepared. But no, the quicker you get out there, the better it's going to get. So now take us through week 1's done. You don't close anything. Still great attitude. You touch in with Brandon. What's he tell you then?
Yeah. So about halfway through that week, I called Brandon
Yeah.
and I was like, hey, man, like, obviously I'm going to learn on the job. I'm going to learn as I go. What's the best way to really expedite that? Like, who would be someone good? And I asked him in the Charlotte area
Yeah.
of who would be someone good to sit down and shadow
Right.
for a week. And
You're
when
just thinking strategic. Who
yeah,
could I
like, hey, if
okay.
someone's up and running
Let me
in
just
my
see what they're
area,
doing.
let me, you know, go spend time with them. Let me figure it out. Obviously, I don't want to hurt their business and make it,
Right.
you know, take away from their
Affect it
time.
at all. Right.
Yeah,
You just
but-
want to kind of see what a producing agent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What's making them successful? And
Absolutely.
when I called him, you know, he told me that honestly the best bet would be come down to Florida.
He said, come to
And-
TI, baby.
Yeah, he told me
Treasure
to
Island.
come down, and we were figuring out a plan and realized that the next week worked.
The next week worked.
Yeah. So Wednesday, I booked a flight to fly out on Sunday and spend the whole week down in Florida training.
Booked a
learning.
flight. from Charlotte to Florida, rented a car.
Yeah.
So that you could run business out here.
Yeah. My goal was
And
come down and run and learn as much as possible so I
learn
can take
and
that
then
back.
run and then take it back. So
Yeah.
tell us, you get here. How was day one?
Day one was great. Went and sat with Jeff Schultz. And
So you rode which? Oh no, you sat
on
with,
Monday. Yeah, we did a dial session in the morning, and then
so you're
did
hearing
one in the
Jeff
afternoon.
book all his appointments,
Mhm.
how he's doing it. Okay.
Yeah. So there was just shadowing, taking little notes, asking questions. Okay, what's
a big
what are
takeaway
you
from Schultz on how he's booking?
the biggest thing is just your delivery. That's
Delivery.
100% what it is. You
Yeah.
have to be confident. You have to talk to them, but your whole goal is to make sure that they're going to be home. That's it.
Make
Find
out
you're
when
not,
they will be
you're
home.
not trying to sell someone something over the phone.
Right.
You're just, hey, I need you to be home and let's figure out when that time is. So
Right.
sitting down and just simplify the phone call. Yeah, and that,
Really just
that made
reducing
all
it.
the difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
He made it really easy and said, you got 50 to 75 seconds on that phone call and
So
utilize the time. So if you're dragging it on and you're talking about all this extra stuff, then it's wasted time.
Right.
You could be calling the next person. So it's 50 to 75 seconds. Find out when they're going to be home, set a time with them, and then you're going to see them that next day. You're going to see them
Boom.
the day after. Don't book
only
let's
book
say on a
24
Monday
to 48
yeah,
hours,
you're not going
right?
to book a Friday appointment.
Right.
So booking that Tuesday and Wednesday up as quick as possible, but you just have to make the calls. You have to put in the time because not everyone's going to answer the phone.
Right.
We
got to get those reps.
We made probably 140 calls in the morning session of dials.
140 calls, guys.
And
that's average.
Booked 7 or 8 appointments.
Yeah.
And had, I think it was 14 that actually picked up the phone. 14
contacts, 7 appointments. Yeah. Okay. So you learn a bunch just watching him dial. So now Tuesday comes along. You ride with Jeff?
Yeah, I rode with him all day from start to finish. And
you must have learned. I mean, I can't.
It's just the simple things, walking up with a confident attitude, waving to him when you're walking up, look like you're there to be friendly versus look like your average sales guy.
Right.
I'm not trying to sell you on buying a new roof or gutters.
Right.
I'm here to help you.
That's
so
it.
Get to know them, sit down with them, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
To kind of break the ice. So you're not seen as a sales guy sitting across from them or next to them.
Right.
You're there to help them.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. Because
that's a huge
if you look like a sales guy, their guard's up the whole time.
The guard is up, guys.
Yeah, they're not going to want to talk.
Right. They won't talk to you.
No.
You got to come across as we're creating value to this client. All we're trying to do is help.
Yeah.
That's it. We're not selling anything because honestly, we got to just make sure this thing gets approved, baby.
We're the underwriters.
We're making sure you are good to go. We want to leave you better than how we left you. So you learned a lot from Jeff's day of shadowing his actual appointments.
Mm-hmm. And then for him too, being one of the bigger guys, and I don't know the exact hierarchy of like who the top person is.
Yeah.
And I'll learn that over time. Hopefully get there.
Might be.
But even as a very seasoned guy, he's done this for a long time and been in, even if it wasn't with the Alliance, has been in that kind of business for a long time. And we went 0 for 4 on the first ones.
And so it's seeing that happen to Jeff Schultz it's relieving, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not just me.
No,
guys, it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. I was sitting there the whole time like, man, this is exactly what happened to me last week. If it happens to him, hey,
it's
okay.
Happen. Yeah. It's not always going to work out how you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
But to see Jeff, a seasoned vet, a top producer with the Alliance, not book every single appointment. Like, no, guys,
it's all about that way. Make the dials and
massive activity.
Yeah. You have to call. You have to put in the time.
Right.
People will answer the phone. And once you get them on the phone, you get them set up. Not all of them are going to do that.
Right.
Some are just going to say, nah.
Right.
And hang up. And that's fine.
On to the next.
Yeah. One. You can't let it phase you. You can't let it get to you. People are going to say awesome things about you while you're on the phone. But hey, it's you just got to keep going.
Mindset.
That's the biggest thing. And then
that's what I think you have. Like, that is what I think I'm trying to really highlight is your attitude has been no matter what, I'm sticking with this. I'm staying positive.
Yeah.
No,
And there's gonna be bumps.
right.
It's learning any new job,
Right.
whatever it is.
There's gonna be obstacles, hoops. I feel nervous, scared.
Yeah.
Guys, if you feel that way, that's good. You're learning.
Oh yeah, but there's also people to call.
Right.
Call
And
you,
you have
call Brandon.
resources.
People answer the phone. I talked to Jeff my first week, and he was giving his advice. And
Right.
the guy had never met me, had no idea who I was,
No,
but had talked
just
to
the man.
Brandon
Yeah.
and reached out and just, hey, how's your first week going? Do you have
Right.
questions? Spent
Reaching
probably
out to your
45
manager,
minutes on the phone with me, and the guy had no idea who I was. He was
Yeah.
just there to help.
Jeff Schultz.
Yeah.
That is Jeff. That's
calling you
sounds
when
like
I was
Jeff.
sitting in the house, like, hey, I hit a little obstacle that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Help kind of deal. And
Absolutely.
everyone's been there to help.
Dude, I love to hear that. Yeah. Guys, use your resources because we are here to help for sure. Now, this part I'm excited to hear about. So you have your week in Charlotte. You're now in Florida. You're
Mhm.
learning a lot Monday. You learned a ton Tuesday on how Jeff approaches his business. Then Wednesday,
I did my own dial session.
so tell us about your dial session. You did, because these numbers were, I was like, wait a second. He was in the other office over here. What was your dial contact appointments?
Dials under 60,
Under 60,
15 contacts,
15 contact,
8 appointments.
8 appointments. Guys,
It's follow the script.
let's go, baby. Oh my
But
God.
It's
When I heard that, I was
follow
like,
the
what?
script
Just
and
stick to the
be
script.
confident. That's
Yeah.
it.
Keep
hey,
it simple, follow the script, be confident.
people hung up on me. It's going to happen.
You just
But
went to the
it's
next
all
one.
good. Next phone call.
So you have 15 booked. How many?
We had 8 appointments
8 appointments. So
out of the 15 contacts.
me and JT hit the field yesterday. Literally, today's the 21st. We hit the field. Yes. So tell us about yesterday. How did yesterday go for you?
Just great. I mean, it's
yesterday was
all
awesome.
about being confident when you go in there.
Yeah.
And knowing, hey, you're not going to close 100%.
Nope.
But out of the 5 we sat down with, closed 3 apps. And one was helping someone get a better deal than what they had.
Right.
It's all about talking. If you talk to them and you learn what they have, what they're set up with, and then you show them, say, hey, I got a better product.
Right.
That will keep you at the same price.
Right.
And get you more
for this
coverage
particular individual.
Yeah. Or
you
people
could
that
help
don't have
her
it.
out. We helped her out significantly. But the only way we find that out is by her trusting us, building that rapport, and telling our stories as well. So she opens up,
Yeah. Got to know her.
Yeah. You got to get to know someone. You can't just dive into it. Like,
if you go in saying, I'm going to have this closed in 15 minutes, you're
walking out the door.
Yeah. We sat down, was it hour and a half?
Hour and a half
with her?
Yep.
No problem. And she apologized a few times for taking a while. Hey, it's no problem. We're here to help you.
We're here to help you. That is it. And if we can't help you, maybe this isn't for you. But if we can, we're going to help.
Yeah. If we had sat down and realized she had the best policy possible,
then
that's
we're looking
awesome.
for any other possible way to help her.
Yeah. We're glad that you have that. But let's see if we can help you in some other fashion.
Right.
If we can't, and we've done everything we possibly can, then it was very nice to meet her. And then we're on to the next one.
Right.
We're going to go to the next family. So, but hey, even as good as yesterday was, well, we still had people that didn't want to talk to us.
Right.
And that's all right.
We had appointments. Yeah. So I did want to say, so yesterday, what was your AP yesterday?
3384.
3384. Way to go, man. That's awesome. That really is. I mean, guys, this is his
my second
week running business. I mean, technically your second day.
Yeah. Second day. Like the first
you ran business one day.
Yeah. The first week
rode
was
with Jeff
just
and
guess.
then right. Guys, that's how quickly he collapsed that time frame. But I did want to just kind of highlight or kind of spotlight, like on this first appointment, all of the appointments that we did actually do business with the client, we were doing our green sheets. We are getting our ERS forms filled out.
Build the why.
We are building the why. those things are crucial. We're looking for safe money. Do not just don't just find the product, final expense, boom. Remember, there's so much more out there to help them out with.
Especially
Kids.
in this market.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Make sure you're asking those questions. But I did just want to, get JT on here to show, kind of introduce him to AMG. This is going to be a more AMG podcast, just short clips of new agents, older agents, anybody who's just in the field doing the do. JT is a perfect example of somebody who came in, follows the blueprint, and just goes for it.
Yeah. And you're not going to hit it out of the park immediately. You might get lucky.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, hey, or somebody that needs insurance and you can sell it to them. That's an easy sell.
Right.
But
so would you
follow
say
the process?
Follow the process. Your biggest piece of advice, like to someone who's out there listening to this, they're like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going for it. I'm getting licensed. They get licensed. What would you say? Is it your attitude? Is it your resources? Like, what is those one or two things you would say you got to just have to do?
You got to have the drive.
Yeah.
And know that if you put in the time, you follow the blueprint and do it the right way. And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Don't be afraid to
ask
questions.
It can be done. This is not a pipe dream.
Right.
At all.
It's not.
The process is there. The blueprint's there, like you said. And
follow the blueprint.
Go do it.
Go do it. Yeah. Fail. Don't be scared to fail.
If you're scared to fail, then you're not going to step out.
Right.
So the first week, I looked like an idiot. And
he ate
but
it.
Hey, it's okay.
He took the L and kept moving.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Better. Yeah.
You got better.
Brandon said the first phone call I had with him was it's going to take 80 to 100 appointments.
Yep. Because he's being realistic with.
Yeah. So there's no way if it takes 80 to 100
to be
that I'm going to be great in the first 3.
Right. He's talking about to have like a closing ratio of every person almost you speak to, you're like practically closing something.
Yeah.
So guys,
it's going to take time.
You got to get out there and just go.
And if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask.
Use your resources. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to highlight you, JT. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
This has been awesome. AMG podcast. Mike Hilla here with JT Rouse. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.